Welcome back, Leah. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we went live together, so it's really exciting to have you on our podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, we always love going live with fellow sisters and getting to know about their journey, getting to know about basically their experience with PCOS so that others can listen and get, motivated or get inspiration from others. And I think the podcast is like a next step to that where we can
Mhm.
get more in detail or just more because like sometimes on Instagram I feel like we're all in a rush, right? It's like people are watching,
Mhm.
people are commenting, you're like trying to get everything in, but on the podcast it's just us three. So it'll be fun to really get all in to your journey.
Yes.
Doctor said you got PCOS. Now go on, girl, just lose some weight. Till I took the symptoms into my own hands and reversed them naturally.
So let's kick it off.
Mhm.
Go ahead and tell us how you were diagnosed with PCOS. Take us back to that moment when you were first like, what is going on? I just discovered I have PCOS.
Well, it's kind of a multi-step process because I feel like probably my doctor knew when I was like 14,
Oh.
but I don't remember ever hearing the term PCOS. Like when I was 14 and my mom took me to the doctor for irregular cycles, like really, no cycles for like 6 months. And then I would have a period that lasted like 6 weeks. I mean, it was really obviously messing with my health quite a bit. And I remember at that time the doctor telling me, like, explaining to me how the ovaries worked and the whole thing. But at the same time, I just don't remember ever hearing like a term or a diagnosis. My mom certainly
Mhm.
never communicated one to me if one was ever given. But I remember the doctor telling me, like, this is a fertility issue. You probably have a very, very low chance of having children when I was like
Wow.
At
14.
that age? Oh
And
my God.
she put me on birth control pills. Yeah. Yeah. Put me on birth control pills at 14 to regulate my cycles. And then fast forward, I was 19, 18 or 19, went for my first like gynecological exam. And, they did a history and asked me a bunch of questions. And, you know, based on what I told them, said the same thing. Oh, we probably would say you have a very low chance of ever having children. But, other than that, you'll live a normal life, right? Um, and then it wasn't until I got married and my husband and I were trying to have kids that, I couldn't get pregnant. And so went to the doctor again. And that was when I heard the term for the first time, you have
Mhm.
PCOS. And I was like, oh, I feel like I've heard about this before, but nobody ever told me like what it was. It was only relegated to being like a fertility issue and nothing else. And because I wasn't trying to have kids at 14 and 18, um, nobody really explained anything further than that. So that was kind of when I first heard about it. And then, I mean, still treated like a fertility condition only. So,
There's like a 20-year
take this
gap.
medication. And I mean, no, I was 14, 19, had my first kid when I was 25. So um,
10
I
years.
was probably 20, 22 when I got the diagnosis of PCOS, 22.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
22, 23, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And still just treated like a fertility thing. So as soon as I took the medication, which was metformin, as soon as I took that and I was able to then get pregnant, then it was like, oh, okay, you're good. You're fine, you know?
Ah, uh-huh.
And all the while, I mean, always had things like intense cravings. I called it like brain fog, where I just was like, I just get in this state where people are talking to me and I'm like, I can't even answer you. Like, I'm trying to process what you're saying. Like, it was so severe. I mean, over that duration of time, my blood sugar was checked more times than I can count because they kept thinking I was diabetic based on my symptoms. Always fine, it was always in the normal range. So it wasn't until I went to the doctor at 40, how old am I? 44, 42. So just a couple of years ago. I went to the doctor in relation to like a hospital, like an ER follow-up. And she was the first person in 20 some odd years who ever said, you have PCOS and a lot of these symptoms can be attributed to that. And I think you're insulin resistant, um, based on the things you're telling me. And so that was sort of so it's really, I mean, I've had it always, like since I was a teenager,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't until just like a couple of years ago that I actually really knew what it was and got good information about it.
So you struggled with PCOS symptoms from age 14 to age
Yeah.
42, having symptoms of
Yes, ma'am.
insulin resistance,
And not knowing what it is.
cravings, not knowing what it is. First, it was they gave birth control to kind of mask
Mm-hmm.
the symptoms for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you couldn't get
Yep.
pregnant. They gave metformin. Still no real explanation, no lifestyle like
Mm-hmm.
recommendations or anything. And then at
Mm-mm.
42, you finally
Mm-hmm.
figured out how to thrive with PCOS.
Yeah, I know.
It's
It's like
what I
such a
don't think I've
long
ever
time.
heard. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had someone on the podcast who struggled for that long.
For that specific,
42.
but there are so many who
Yeah.
are, right? For
Oh, for
like
sure.
20
Mm-hmm.
years that they
So,
don't know
yeah.
like
Usually
what they
like
have.
around 30 when someone's trying to get pregnant, like, around
Yeah.
that time, then they say, oh, you have PCOS. And then they
Mm-hmm.
start doing some research or, getting into that. But yours took until 42 to actually get like you have insulin resistance,
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
struggle.
It's wild.
yeah, at least there's some positivity there though, of course, with like being able to get pregnant at 25 with the help of
Yeah.
metformin. At least
It's
the doctor
Mm-hmm.
might help with that situation. But yeah, so many women do struggle in that area as
I
well
know.
to get pregnant after.
It is the most common cause of infertility, but also the most treatable
Mm-hmm.
cause.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so great that you were able to navigate that when you were 22 or 25.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that I knew that, this is 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and we didn't have the same kind of information and access to information that we have
Yeah.
now, right? Like, you guys are probably young, but there were no cell phones when I was a teenager, nobody had a cell phone. And
Same.
so, it's like, not that you can trust everything on the internet, but there wasn't even a possibility of trying to really research things on your own 30 years ago to try to figure out
Yeah.
what something is. You only had your doctor and what your doctor told you. And I'm not knocking doctors because it was my doctor who, really got me help this time around, like started me on that journey. But doctors are hit or miss depending on whether you
Mhm.
have a doctor that's willing to sit and actually take the time to listen to you and everything going on and really do the diagnostic work necessary to figure it out. Not all doctors are willing to do that. So it is kind of, looking back on it now, I'm so, I mean, I guess to some extent passionate about it in
Mhm.
terms of like telling other people. Like I know a couple of women who are struggling with it, and I'm gonna have coffee with one of them and just be like, "Hey, let me tell you what I've learned, and let me tell you where you can get better information because I only
Yeah.
know what works for me." But
Yeah.
because I didn't need to deal with that for, you know, 2 decades. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't need to deal with that, like the cravings and the extreme fatigue. And I mean, I always that whole time had super irregular cycles where, then I would become anemic because then my period would last so long. I
Mhm.
mean, it really messed with my quality of life,
Quality of life. Yeah. And
like pretty significantly.
don't you feel like you almost get used to the symptoms and accept it as your normal? After
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
years, you're like, well, this is just how my body is. I have a painful
Hmm.
period or it lasts forever. You
Hmm.
kind of just like create this narrative around the PCOS. This happens to everyone. And you just get used to it. And that almost makes you feel like there are no answers. Let me just get used to it. It is what it is.
Hmm.
But it's podcast episodes like this where you come on and you talk about that feeling that can
Hmm.
motivate listeners into realizing that there are so many things you can do to manage your PCOS and reverse your symptoms.
Totally.
So
Hmm.
I'd love if you could dive into some of the different approaches that really helped you and like what was the first thing that you did?
So the first thing I did was after I got the diagnosis from my doctor, again, telling me about insulin resistance and actually more information about what PCOS was. Then that is when I found your guys' YouTube channel, actually. And the
Oh,
first thing I
YouTube.
started was the slow weighted workouts, because I already worked out 5 days a week. I rowed. I have a rowing machine. And so I was a pretty avid rower.
Mhm.
And I already ate really well, like healthy. Um, and so working out was kind of like, well, I'll try this different way of working out. Maybe what I'm doing isn't working. I'll try the slow weighted workouts. And just doing the slow weighted workouts, I lost like 8 pounds in
Wow.
like a
Wow.
month and a half.
That's cool.
And
Oh,
that's coming from somebody that was already active. Now, I was quite overweight. That was one of the reasons I went to my doctor, is because I had such unexplained weight gain. And I was like, I don't know where this is coming from. I work out 5 days a week. I eat really well. I shouldn't weigh almost as much as my husband, like that's not natural for my frame. Um, and so uh, that's what I started with, was the slow weighted workouts. And then just watching the YouTube videos, listening to the podcast. I started in with complete gluten free. That was the next thing I did.
Oh,
I was
amazing.
already kind of gluten free. I would say I was maybe like 60% gluten free already. I tried to really limit gluten because I felt like it was maybe giving me headaches.
Mm.
Um, and so, which was another thing that I struggled with for years, was migraines, which I don't have anymore. And then a couple months after that, I went dairy free. So I started the slow weighted workouts in August of 22. I went completely gluten free in September. I went completely dairy free in November of that year. And from August to, I guess it would have been April, I lost over 40 pounds.
Wow.
wow.
That is amazing.
That's
Congratulations. You
amazing.
deserve it,
Yeah.
honestly, after all the time you took to investigate over the years and to put that
Yeah.
amount of work into it. You deserve it.
Who would think that after so many years of struggling and almost getting used to that struggle in such a
Hmm.
shorter amount of time
Hmm.
than anyone would expect, your whole life can transform. And it's
Yeah.
not about the number on the scale,
Hmm.
but it's about
Yeah.
the symptoms being
Feeling.
relieved
No,
and feeling so much better afterwards. And so for those
it
who are
has.
listening, it's like you may think that this is it, but then you tried three things, not a million, just three, and you started with one and graduated to the next and the next.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And just by doing that in a matter of months, you change the picture of your ovaries, you changed your whole body, your whole life, and everything. And without cutting calories and without working out
Hmm.
more.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually work out less than I
Yes.
used
Yeah.
to.
I was an athlete.
Like,
Were you an athlete in college or in high school?
no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I'm the tallest, clumsiest girl in the class always. No, I'm not athletic by any means, but I have always enjoyed like bike riding, cycling, hiking. Those were always
Mhm.
things that I really loved doing. Always did quite a lot of when I
Oh,
was
okay.
younger.
That's great.
Um, and
That's great.
so I always maintained a level of activity in my life. I wasn't necessarily like a very sedentary person.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, but it was, now I know that I did a lot of high intensity stuff and that just didn't work. I mean, I did a CrossFit for a few years, and that too, I'm doing CrossFit and I was
Yeah.
still gaining weight. Like it was ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I don't focus on the weight in terms of like you have to weigh a certain amount, but like I knew like I wasn't comfortable. I could tell the strain it was putting on my body, like my joints
Mhm.
hurt,
Oh, totally.
things like that. And I knew that that's not where my body naturally sits because I had always been, you know, a different size when I was growing up and in all throughout high school and even in my 20s.
Yeah.
So after I had my third baby, see, you can have babies with
Yes.
PCOS.
Yes.
After I had my third kid, my symptoms went haywire. Like they were the worst they had ever been. And uh, so by the time I found your guys' channel and my doctor told me about being insulin resistant, I was really, I would say almost given up. Um, Like I was really close because I was like, I kill myself. I kill myself working out. I I rarely let myself like indulge in things that I wanted because I was like, no, I got to eat healthy all the time, 100%. You know, um, ate a lot of like raw spinach smoothies, which is like not the tastiest thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
super green, just so full of fiber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I mean, I really was trying everything I could think of, and because it didn't work, and I still felt horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt horrible all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you do kind of acclimate to it and get used to
Yeah.
it. So what is normal feels
You're just
maybe not as bad.
yeah.
You're just so much in the fog of it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like being in the ocean and like slowly drowning. Like you
Mhm.
get so used to the water being here that you don't notice. And then you get so used to the water being here, you don't notice that you're slowly sinking, you know? That was kind
Great
of what it
analogy.
felt like. And it was super frustrating. Yeah. And I feel
Mhm.
like to some extent, it really messed with my sense of identity of like who I was, because
Mhm.
who I was when I was younger and my symptoms weren't as severe, for whatever reason. You know, some of them were more severe when I was younger. Like obviously the irregular cycles were really bad when I was younger. They didn't um, stay to that level after I had kids, but then after I had kids, I wound up getting other symptoms like the unexplained weight gain and the extreme fatigue, and
Mhm.
the brain fog got really bad. I mean, you know, it's bad when you literally, I remember it one time specifically, like I was like, I'm going to fall over. And I had to lay down on my kitchen floor. And my 8-year-old son is bringing me a granola bar and putting it in unwrapping it and putting it in my hand. Here, mommy, eat, mommy. Like, you know,
Wow.
you need to eat something, because that's what everybody thought. Everybody thought that I was like, for some reason, you have diabetes and they just don't know it yet. So
Yeah.
you need food,
You
you
need
need to
more
raise your
food.
blood
Yeah.
sugar. And
Yeah.
it wasn't that at all, you know? So, um, it drastically impacted my quality of life. Like I think
Yeah.
when my kids were young, especially, I was definitely not as active with them as I would have liked to have been. Like
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
wasn't the mom that could go out and like play soccer in the yard for an hour because I was just like spent all the time.
Yeah.
So now I feel like myself again, if that makes
Mhm.
Mhm.
sense.
Do they
Like,
notice it? Has anyone said something like you're
oh
different
yeah.
or like
Yeah. It's very noticeable. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And even like to my closest friends that, you know, they've been my friends for over a decade, like they're
Mhm.
like, wow, it's really changed your life. And it has. It has really changed my life. Like I can do things that I couldn't do before. And I have energy that I didn't have before. And more than that, I just don't deal with all the symptoms. I mean, they flare up every now and then. But now I also have the tools of like, oh, okay, I'm really dealing with some symptoms. What do I need to do to take care of that? And there's
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
steps that I can take to do that instead of just suffering through, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That is an amazing story, and it just like really just hearing that was making me a little bit emotional, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, just because it's like it makes me so happy to hear that you were able to kind of change that and like make yourself not just feel better but be better for yourself and feel better around your
Mm.
children, around your spouse. So it's just really awesome to really hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love it. And you really targeted your metabolism with the changes that
Hmm.
you made. It wasn't just
Hmm.
like blindly deciding to, I don't know, just like any random thing. You started with the swapping the workouts because you felt like that was you were doing too much and it wasn't giving you the results you deserved.
Mhm.
And then you took it one step at a time, which is so relatable and so motivating
Yeah.
for
Hmm.
anyone who's listening, for them to take that next step. Whatever you feel comfortable with first is the first step that you should take. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many.
Hmm.
Just start with one,
Just
not
glad you never
them.
quit. I'm glad like
Yeah.
when you got to that moment where you felt like you were gonna quit, that you didn't quit. And you just pushed on. Just shows your strength. So just great job there as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
So,
Thanks. Thanks.
of course, launching into more of the tips that you want to give our listeners
Hmm.
or viewers if you're watching on YouTube.
Hmm.
So you went gluten-free, you did dairy-free, and you started slow
Hmm.
weighted workouts.
Hmm.
I see you're sipping on
Hmm.
our spearmint tea.
I am.
What are a couple other things that has changed in your life and you're just, you want to stick to forever because it's created such an impact?
So I also, I mean, I've gotten a lot of them from you, obviously. I eat breakfast at the same time every day. I eat lunch at the same time every day. I don't eat after dinner. I don't really snack anymore. And that is something I used to do a lot of because so many people had convinced me, like medical professionals had convinced me that it was my blood sugar was the problem. So I'd really gotten into the habit of like snacking like every 2 or 3 hours.
Mhm.
And um, so that was something that I totally stopped. So it's not quite like intermittent fasting, but it's, I definitely go like a good 12 hours, 12, 13
Mm.
hours
Oh, that's
overnight
great. Yeah.
without eating anything. Um,
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
it
If
really
you,
does.
yeah, if you remove that snack before bed, like makes a huge difference for the insulin spike and how you
Hmm.
sleep throughout the night.
Yeah, it does. I sleep better. And I used to wake up dizzy quite a bit um, because
Mm.
I would always have like a snack like right before I went to bed, right? And then I'd wake up and I'd feel like lightheaded in the morning. And I just thought that was like a normal thing. But when I stopped eating after dinner time, which for me is about 6 or 6:30, and then
Mm.
I'm usually up at 6 the next morning.
Mhm.
Um, like once I stopped doing that and snacking in the evening, I stopped waking up dizzy. Like just that one thing was like
Amazing.
the like
Did,
made
did
a
you
huge difference.
did you feel like you also had more energy maybe because of like
I
the
did. I didn't
oh good.
feel so sluggish. Like before, I used to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to have coffee before I can function. And I still have my 1 cup of coffee a day, but I don't feel like I have to have it immediately as soon as I wake up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I wait 30 minutes or 40 minutes
Yeah.
before I
Oh,
have a cup of
awesome.
coffee. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like the fuel to your morning anymore.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always say that, like, if you feel like you have to have that cup of coffee, then that means something is wrong with your metabolism, your hormones. Something is off if you cannot function in the morning. And this is so many people um, that say this, that like, I cannot function in the morning until I have my coffee. And I'm like, well, you could if
Yeah.
you did XYZ. You could try not snacking at night or having a high protein
Yeah.
breakfast first and see if
Yeah.
that gives you the boost of energy. Maybe going on a short walk. Like there are different things that
Hmm.
give you that natural boost of energy. Then you can
Yes.
have your
Hmm.
cup of coffee.
There is a recent study show that you should wait 90 minutes before having your first cup of coffee because that's when your body builds up its energy reserves for the day. And if you have coffee before that 90 minutes, it kind of doesn't do it as much because of the coffee, the caffeine. So you want to
Mm.
wait 90 minutes, let your body continuously build up those like energy reserves, and then have it after that 90 minutes.
That's cool.
Oh, that's really interesting. I might have to give that a try.
Yeah.
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 Now I'm always like, what new tip can I implement?
Right? Like, what else can make
Because
my life better?
it doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I also love I definitely do the big breakfast, small dinner.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm such a creature of habit. I have the same breakfast every day, which is 2 eggs and
Can't
chia
blame
seed
you.
pudding. Like I protein pack in the morning.
Yeah.
I definitely meal prep all of my breakfast for like
Yeah.
the weekdays. And so that helps because then I just have to pull out of the fridge and go, which helps to keep me on track and good. And I have found that that is a really key thing for me
The
is
breakfast.
the
Yeah.
really protein loading the breakfast and like having a big breakfast. And then I have sort of like middling lunch and then like a small dinner is usually what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, like a big breakfast, smaller dinner.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This morning, I
Mhm.
actually decided to have yogurt, like coconut yogurt with some granola and like almond butter. I think it was like 15 grams of protein. Usually I have
Mhm.
grams of protein, I have a smoothie and
Mhm.
everything. And I have been so like like just like like all morning just
Yeah.
tired, like why did I do that? And I'm
Mhm.
full from the breakfast, but I think because it didn't have protein in it, it's
Mm.
like messing with
Yeah.
my mood or like my ability to focus or like want to like get to work. And
Do
I
you
don't
feel
know,
like
like
you want
I
a
think
snack? Is that
I
what it
no,
is too?
I don't feel like the snack. I thought I would, but I don't feel like I want a snack because it was enough calories and healthy
Mm.
fats in it. And it was great. But I think the lack of protein in it is affecting my mood and
Mm.
focus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
definitely feel like that. That's part of why I just eat the same thing every day,
Yeah.
because I already
I'm
measured
the
it out.
same
I know
way.
what's in it, and
Why did I choose to do that this morning? Honestly, like I'm the same way. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Anyways, regrets.
I know. I know. I do that. I mean, we're human, right? Sometimes I do that, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
looked good. He
yeah,
was
I'm
eating
like,
a
oh, I'll
parfait.
have,
Mhm.
you
I made
know,
myself one.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I just have to remind myself when I do that, okay, this is why it's not good for you. Like,
Yeah. This
don't
is
do
what-
that next time,
Correct.
because it's not worth the whole morning of, usually for me, if I don't have enough protein in the morning, I feel super sluggish. Like
Yeah.
I can't get my act together
I
and
can't
like
get it together. Yeah.
do things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like part of listening to your body. Like if you know something doesn't impact you very well, then next day maybe you don't do it as
Yeah.
much, or you do a little bit less, or
Hmm.
you improve on that thing. So, speaking of,
Yeah.
how do you feel like your day-to-day routine? I know we were talking about like other tips that also helps. What does your day-to-day routine kind of look like now that you're managing your PCOS symptoms, your weight, and you just like you're kind of like in the
Mhm.
maintenance stage, if
Hmm.
that's accurate, right? Like, how do you feel that's
Yeah.
working out? Does it feel like it's a lot of work, or you feel like at this point things are just consistent and you know what you're doing like day to day?
I mean, I think I thrive on routine, so it's been really great for me. Like I wake up at the same time, I work out at the same time. I have a gym in my garage, so I just have to go out there to work out. Um, then I have breakfast. My work day starts at 10 Eastern time, so I work from home. So then I work 10 to 2, and then um, I go get my kid from school. I mean, I try to go for a walk after lunch. I usually can't manage a walk after breakfast because I have to get to work, but I like to do a walk after lunch. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty routine. Evenings can be kind of different because I have
Mm,
3 kids. And so depending on who has to go where or do what or whatever, but
yeah,
Mhm.
um,
that's
yeah,
great.
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, I feel like actually when I travel and I don't have my normal routine, I feel like my body gets out of whack.
Totally.
Like,
100%. Yeah.
and so I'm like, oh, I mean, I like to travel, but there's like this stage of getting back where I'm just like, oh, I have to. I mean, I remember my husband and I went to Puerto Rico a few years ago, and uh, just like I just was like, I need a smoothie. Like I
Yeah.
need a protein
I
smoothie,
need
like right now.
protein shake. Yeah.
Yes, like I'm
We,
so out of my
yeah,
my normal routine. I need a protein smoothie right now. That's what my body needs. So, but
totally.
now I
You
know that,
feel different
before I
after
wouldn't
you
have.
drink it.
Hmm.
It's a different
Yeah,
feeling when you have that
yeah, it
protein
is.
shake or smoothie versus that parfait I had
It's like
instead.
when you're traveling out of the US too, you really
Oh
get
my
to see what
gosh.
it's like. We get special services here. Like there's smoothie
We have
bars.
smoothies.
You can get any
Yeah.
healthy breakfast you want. When you go, like we went to Italy, and like there was just like one place that made a smoothie, and it was like an American restaurant in Italy. So it wasn't even like
Yeah,
Mm,
a native restaurant. So
I
it's like
know.
really hard to find those
yeah,
things you get used to here.
I know. When we
it
traveled,
is.
I really regretted not bringing a portable smoothie mechanism
But
Mm-hmm.
blender. I was like, if I just brought that damn blender and one bottle of protein powder, it would have
Yeah,
changed my life. Like,
that's okay. It's a trip. It was a
I
little
learned.
vacation. Yeah,
I learned.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean that was our honeymoon, so it's okay.
no, I'm talking about traveling a couple
Oh, when
years
you travel
ago.
for a
Yeah.
year, yeah, yeah. Okay, that
And
was for
honestly,
sure.
the whole time I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever
Yeah.
done. Like, what we have this long trip ahead of us. Didn't think to bring
Yeah.
the blender. But I would
Yeah.
ask you, do you ever make like a checklist or do you use the habit tracker in the Cysterhood app? Like, how do you keep track of all of these things?
So before there was the habit tracker, because that's relatively new,
Yeah.
but before that, I just wrote it all down on my iPad.
Oh,
I kept a food log every day, honestly, of what I ate when I ate it, and then I kept another sheet um, in my iPad that lists the nutritional information for all of the things I ate the most frequently, so that I wasn't always having to look at the labels to make sure that I had
yeah.
enough. So, like, I knew how much protein was in, how much chia seeds, and so forth. And I had 2 different kinds of protein powder, so how much protein was in each one, because I track. Really, I just pay attention to protein and carbs is
Mhm.
really all I track. And so That was really helpful. And then now, of course, there is the habit tracker, which I'm still figuring out how to use to a way that is going to be the most beneficial to me.
Yeah.
I am very grateful for it. I think it's super handy. It just takes me a little while. Change is hard for me because
Oh
I am
yeah,
such a
Oh,
I
creature
get
of
it. Yeah,
habit. So I'm like, I gotta like adjust to a new way of
yeah.
doing things. But
yeah,
I
Eventually
do
we're
pay
gonna make
attention.
it. Yeah, eventually
Mhm.
we're gonna make it a widget so it's on like the front and center of your phone,
yeah.
right?
Wherever you want it to be.
So I feel like
That would be
that's
legit.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
what we need to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
That would be
people are
awesome.
loving it so far, But I totally get it. You have to go into an app. Whereas if it's a widget, it's like right in the front.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So before we end this podcast, I want to ask you, what is your
Mhm.
favorite recipe in the sisterhood?
Well, okay. That's really hard. That's really hard. Um, I haven't looked at all of the recipes on the app yet, but one of my favorite recipes is actually one that you did on a YouTube video, which was the burger salad.
Oh,
And I literally just had that for dinner the other night because I made burgers for my family and I had
Oh, nice.
the burger salad instead. Because it's so simple. I think that's why,
mhm.
because I hate to cook. I do not enjoy it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of allergies between me having no gluten and no dairy, and I have a kid that can't have nuts, eggs, or fish. And
Mm.
so, like, cooking has just always been a chore in our family because of that. And so, whatever is the easiest and simplest, and because you can just get burger patties pre-made, it's easy,
Yeah.
fast. I do that. However, I'm really loving the chia seed pudding recipes
Mhm.
that you've been sharing. I don't think those are in the app yet either. They were on like a
Oh,
short Instagram short.
they're in
They
the
are in the
app.
app
Yeah, yeah.
now? Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. Cool. So the what was it? It's key lime.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
key
Key
lime
lime.
pudding.
Yeah.
Key
Yes,
lime
it's in
pudding,
the app.
chia
Yeah.
seed pudding. Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Okay, because I have chia seed pudding every day. So I'm
Yeah,
like, yes, give me new ways to make it, please, because
totally.
it's like my favorite
We have a
breakfast.
whole category of chia seed pudding
Yeah,
recipes
like
in the
10
app.
plus recipes of chia seed pudding.
The reason why is because I have now figured out that the best way to make chia seed pudding is to make it a dessert. Like make it the flavor
Yes.
of your favorite dessert. There's key lime,
Yes.
there's black forest, which is like chocolate cherry.
Mm.
There's like a baklava one. Like there's so many different ways to make chia seed pudding with all of those different flavors that you love so much. You can make a simple
hmm
chocolate banana one. Who doesn't love that? Or
hmm
like a strawberry lemonade. I mean,
hmm
you take whatever dessert you like, make it into a chia seed pudding. You will
Yeah.
jump out
And
of
you can
bed,
have that
no
for breakfast every
caffeine,
morning.
breakfast every morning.
No, that's legit because I do have a bit of a sweet tooth, but I try not to eat very much sugar. And so finding things that like satiate that so that I don't feel like I'm depriving myself because I would then binge if I couldn't have like a sweet treat. If I tried to never have that, then I would absolutely one day just lose my mind and eat like a dozen donuts and
Yeah.
feel like so ill, like so ill.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that too. Um, I'm all for, I mean, why be an adult if you can't have dessert for breakfast?
100%. I know.
Exactly.
And then when my family's eating their pancakes, which really I make two kinds because I make, gluten, dairy-free protein pancakes for me, and then I make regular pancakes for them, but
Mhm.
I don't do syrup. So putting something else yummy on them is good. And I
Yeah.
have actually topped my pancakes with chia seed pudding,
Oh,
and
You
it's
can even
good.
you can try what Tanya's been doing recently. She showed it in stories the other day where she is getting raspberries and
mhm.
I don't know what you do.
Say
Oh
it.
yeah, she made the jam. She made
Yeah,
like the
yeah, she
raspberry jam and then
cooks it
topped it on.
down
Yeah,
into a jam and then puts that on the pancakes and it's
yeah.
like it's a healthier
Mhm.
alternative but still tastes delicious. So
The parfait, because I was like, I'm gonna put my jam all over this coconut yogurt. It's gonna be so good. I was so excited because I just made the jam,
yeah,
and now
it's a good alternative
I'm
for sure.
starving.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think that is a really easy way to get in chia seeds. Just simmer some
hmm
raspberries with some chia seeds. We
hmm
have that recipe in the app. And then I have this
hmm
Mia's protein pancake recipe.
hmm
Fellow sister
hmm
had shared it with us. Super simple, just like banana, egg, and blend it, make the pancakes, top it off with the chia jam. So good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say it's really, there are a lot of options in there. And I do feel like, I think when I first went gluten-free, I felt like I could never eat anything good ever again, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like disheartening.
Yeah.
And then when I gave up dairy and I was like, what? Now I can't have charcuterie boards? Like it's
Yeah.
the end of my life. Because I love those so much. So the recipes are great. And I especially really enjoy, honestly, when you demonstrate how to make them because I hate to cook. And
Yeah.
so seeing somebody make them and then I'm like, okay, that's not that hard. I can do it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly
yeah.
why I put videos for most of the recipes. I'm not done yet, but I want to put a video
Mhm.
for every recipe in the app.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, I don't want to be a chef. Like, I don't want to cook. I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with this. And I just want them
Hmm.
to realize, like, it's not so bad. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Like you just do this,
Hmm.
this, and this, and then
Hmm.
boom, you have this amazing dinner and you feel great and you're reversing PCOS. Like, that
Yeah.
is like what I'm trying to curate with the recipes in the sisterhood.
Yeah. And it's easier once you get over the hump because then you see how much better you feel. And so now I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do all the meal prepping. I'll do all the things I have to do because
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going back to feeling
Right.
like I used to feel, you know? But in the beginning, it's really hard to get the
Yeah.
motivation, which is another great thing
Yeah.
about just the community aspect of being able to talk to other people and, you know, say,
Yeah.
oh, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Also, we're struggling with this. Yeah, that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, you can always
Mhm.
hop into the sisterhood community and just complain. And you have so many sisters listening
Share.
and being like, yeah, I know. Isn't it awful? But you can do this,
Yeah.
that. We have lots of
But the
advice.
great thing is like it's more positive.
Positive.
I feel like our community
Hmm.
is a lot more positive compared to obviously
Yeah.
some Facebook groups where it's just like can be more negative, but that's because we've created
Because
like
we're
a
in there.
place
Yeah.
for people to improve their symptoms and find
Yeah,
ways. Yeah.
we create that tone. Like I
For everybody.
reply
Yeah.
to everyone's comments, everyone's
Hmm.
uplifting each other. Like I've been
Hmm.
in those Facebook groups on Facebook,
Hmm.
like the random Facebook groups about PCOS. I remember like when I was first diagnosed, like looking into support, right? And it was
Hmm.
just like sad post after sad post, no solution, no one giving advice, like people
Hmm.
saying this might work, that might work. They're all crazy, like pieces of advice that I would never try. And I don't even know if it would work if I tried it. So I'm not going to try it. And it was just like negative.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's why when we created this community in the sisterhood, it was so important to make sure everyone's message was met with a response and an answer and a direction and studies, research. Hey, like, you could do this
Hmm.
or that. Let us know how it goes. And then you want to come back and say how it went, So that's really important
Hmm.
for the journey.
Yeah. It is. And it's encouraging to see other people that, like just hearing your story, because you guys were very, have been very forthcoming and honest with like where you started and what you were able to accomplish in reversing your PCOS and being able to see like tangible things of like, okay, wow, look, her skin looks better and she has more energy and she was able to lose weight. And like, okay, if she can do it, I could do it. Right.
Yeah.
Like there's like it's like instant motivation because when you're
Mhm.
just staring at do these things like a checklist of things to do, then it's just like too much. And
Too
I
much.
can't possibly do all of those things, you know?
Yeah.
Even getting rid of gluten and dairy. I mean, I did that because you said like try it for 30 days. It wasn't like you have to do this forever for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You just try it for 30 days and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, huh, okay, I can do that. I can try it for 30 days. And then I mean, I could always go back to eating it again if it doesn't have
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
effect, like no big deal. And then, I had to confront my own sadness when I realized how much dairy affected me. And I was like, oh no, no dairy for me. Oh gosh. But I do
Yeah.
have maybe a little bit of gluten once a month.
Yeah.
For the most part, no. But every now and then, if somebody has a birthday, I'm gonna have a couple bites of cake. Like I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm the
I'm not
same
gonna
way.
I'm not gonna, it was just my dad's birthday like a week and a half ago, and everyone was
Yeah.
having cake, and they're like, "Are you gonna have cake?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna scrape off the buttercream, and I'm gonna eat some of just the cake." Yes, yes, because
Oh my
dairy
gosh.
definitely affects me more than gluten for sure.
I did the same thing for our birthday. Was it last week
2
or
weeks
two
ago, I
weeks
think. Yeah.
ago?
Mhm.
My friend made this two-tier chocolate cake with pistachio, hazelnut, whatever. Like it was
Mhm.
crazy. And everyone loved it. It finished, like usually cake doesn't finish. It was that good. It
Mhm.
finished. And I was
Wow.
like, I'm gonna have a bite. Okay. Like
Mhm.
Your
my
birthday cake,
birthday.
for goodness
So
sakes.
I had a bite.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
And beyond that, I don't even want to eat more because I'm like the acne, the
Uh-huh.
symptoms. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with this, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure.
I haven't talked this too much about this on the podcast yet, but we suspect that I might have maybe Hashimoto's or
Hmm.
autoimmune with the thyroid. So I am
Hmm.
basically
How are you
starting
pronouncing it? I haven't even heard you say that word.
Hashimoto. Basically, I might be going
Hmm.
gluten free for like myself as well.
Hmm.
Maybe
Hmm.
we should capture that journey,
Yeah.
on stories like day one of Sirap going gluten free,
We
day
should.
5, and I'm like going crazy.
Oh my God, this is so good. But first you need like
That
to
would be really good.
tie it
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to make it official to know if I
Yeah.
actually have it or
Yeah.
not. So we'll check
Hmm.
that. We'll check that. But
Yeah.
amazing. Love this
Yeah.
conversation. We really enjoyed, Leah, hearing your story about from, when you were younger in your teenage years to your 20s, and then hearing about, of course, you being able to have children, and then later finding out about your PCOS diagnosis at 42 and still being able to reverse symptoms. It was really amazing
Hmm.
for us, and I'm sure others too, to hear that and gain that inspiration to know that it is possible to reverse your symptoms, and it doesn't have to be about being completely perfect or having like a list of 20 things to do. It could just be, focusing on a core 3, 4 things and then building from there. So it's just thank you so much for
Hmm.
coming on today and explaining
Yeah.
that whole part.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It was such a
Sure.
pleasure. I'm going to send you 3 boxes of tea,
All right.
and I hope you
Yay.
love it and enjoy it. And we'll talk to you soon in the
All
sisterhood.
right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
as well. Take it, and thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back next time on the podcast. Until then, take care.